She was just a 12-year-old black girl in a simple blue dress. But when she asked the billionaire to play the piano, every champagne glass froze mid-air. And when he did, the room would never be the same. She was just a 12-year-old black girl in a simple blue dress. But when she walked up to the billionaire, clutching a small napkin in her hand, everything changed. The ballroom was bathed in golden light. Crystal chandeliers sparkled above tuxedos and gowns. Waiters flowed like shadows, balancing glasses of champagne and tiny hors d'oeuvres on silver trays. A grand piano stood untouched in the corner, silent and sleek, like a statue nobody dared approach. Everyone was here for one reason: Maxim Thornwell, the tech billionaire, known for being cold, ruthless, and private. He was the kind of man who never smiled for photos and never played into media games. People said he hadn't touched a piano in 20 years, but that night, something happened. The girl's name was Nova, quiet, brilliant, and barely tall enough to reach the hors d'oeuvres table. No one noticed her at first. She had come as a +1, invited with her mentor who'd been honored for community work. Nova didn't care about the money, the glitz, or the politics. She cared about music. And more than that, she cared about his music. You see, before Maxim built billion-dollar empires, before the world knew him as a titan of technology, he had been something else: a prodigy pianist. His compositions had once brought orchestras to tears. But after his parents died in a plane crash, Maxim had never played again. He sold the piano. He shut every music-related chapter in his life. Until this night, Nova knew this. She had spent years watching old grainy videos of his forgotten performances. Not the ones most people watch, the viral ones. She studied the ones where he smiled softly after each piece, where he played not for applause, but because it healed something inside him. So when she saw him standing alone at the edge of the party, clutching a glass and staring blankly at the piano, she walked up to him. She didn't say much. She simply handed him the napkin and said, "I don't have fancy words, sir. Just this." Maxim unfolded the napkin. Inside was sheet music. His music, but rewritten, rearranged. Better. It was one of his lost pieces, transformed with softer notes, deeper chords, modernized but still his. Nova's handwriting danced across the page with pencil marks, tiny annotations, and scribbled questions. What if this part spoke softer? Did your heart feel lighter here? He looked down at her. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a waiter dropped a glass. The room fell silent. Everyone turned toward the strange pair, the billionaire and the little girl. Maxim walked to the piano. Some guests chuckled nervously, others whispered, a few rolled their eyes. But Nova, she just waited. He sat down, ran his fingers over the keys like they were an ancient language he had almost forgotten. His shoulders tightened. Then a single note. Soft, unsure, but real. And then another, and another. What followed was not a performance, it was a conversation between who he was, who he lost, and who he had buried beneath the money, the companies, and the pain. Tears welled in the eyes of a violinist standing in the back. Even the CEO of a rival company dropped his phone mid-text. When Maxim reached the last bar, Nova's version of it, he stopped. And for the first time in 20 years, he smiled. He turned toward Nova, his voice shaking. "Who taught you to feel like that through music?" Nova replied, "You did. You just didn't know." The entire ballroom rose to their feet. But she didn't care for applause. She had come for one thing. Not fame. Not money. Just to return something he had given the world and lost. And in doing so, she brought him back to life. The grand chandelier twinkled above as the entire room held its breath. The air was frozen. From cold, but from disbelief. Alara, the 12-year-old black prodigy in a turquoise dress, stood in front of a man who could buy the building 10 times over, and just asked him to play piano. Some guests chuckled, a few gasped. Phones came out. Did she just ask him to play? Seated at the head of the room was Lucien Carrington, the elusive billionaire tech visionary, concert hall patron, and former musical genius, known for his unmatched talent in his teens, and for never touching a piano since his wife died 15 years ago. He blinked slowly. Alara smiled gently. "Please, just one song for my mum." That word mum did something to him. Flashback years. Lucien sat beside a glowing woman, his late wife, in their home, fingers dancing across piano keys as she sang. Joy overflowed in the room. Then silence. Her diagnosis. The hospital bed. His last promise: "I'll never play without you." He hadn't, not once. Now, here stood a little girl, bold enough to ask what no one had dared. Lucien's voice, husky. "Why?" Alara didn't flinch. "Because you told the world once that music speaks when words fail. My mum's fighting cancer. She believes your music could help her heal." The room was no longer mocking. Lucien slowly stood. Silence cracked. He walked past Alara toward the black Steinway Grand in the corner. The crowd parted like waves. Ilara's eyes widened. She followed. He sat for the first time in 15 years. His fingers hovered over the keys. Then he played a soft lullaby, the same melody he once composed for his wife. But this time, he played it for Alara, for her mother, for something bigger than grief. Tears flowed unashamed, unstoppable. Even the staff paused their duties at the crescendo. Ilara joined humming, then harmonizing. Her voice pure, powerful, true. It was magic. And when the song ended, no one clapped because it didn't need it. Lucen turned to Ilara. Thank you for reminding me who I was. She smiled, gently, gripping his hand. Thank you for saving my mom. News broke Carrington funded a full medical trial for Ilara's mother and thousands more. $50 million donated in her name. But what shocked the world most, Lucen Carrington returned to the stage with Ilara by his side. And in every performance, they played that song. The world now called it the melody of second chances.